Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Hello. This is William Cooper. I trust you're doing well this week and month. Today, I'd like to talk about peace. Every September 21st, which is next Sunday, is World Peace Day. It's celebrated all over the world. It's a United Nations holiday or celebration. And these days, I think from the questions I've been getting and from what I've been feeling and what's going on in the world, I think peace is a good subject to talk about. What I'd like to do also in this session is to discuss any questions that you have about your practice, about your awakening, or really anything else that you'd like to talk about. But first, let's talk about world peace. Now, awakening and world peace are very much related to each other. And I want to tell you something. When I talk with you, when we have these live sessions, I feel so much light. It's really powerful, and it's hard for me to concentrate. I feel all of our light put together, and it combines, and it's so strong. I say this to say that you all are very powerful beings. So, forgive me if I space out a little bit from time to time, but you're that powerful. Oh my. Now, awakening. What is awakening? We've talked about it before, and it's experiencing your best self, your highest happiness, peace, well-being, love, and letting go of everything else, letting go of all of your troubles. That's called awakening. That's just being yourself and letting all your troubles go. So all that's left is happiness. If you feel a bit of peace, you just enjoy it and let everything else go, and all that's left is peace. Your peace. That's it. That's awakening. So you all experience either a lot of awakening, a lot of times, or perhaps pieces of awakening here and there. But whatever you feel, you put your attention on that peace or that love or that well-being and just let the rest go. You're awake. That's it. And an interesting thing happens as you settle into awakening, and a lot of you already are experiencing this, so just bear with me. But as you rest in awakening, as you rest in peace or love or well-being, joy, happiness, you become very clear and you see what you are all around you. If you're experiencing yourself as peace, all around you, you see as peace. Your world becomes much more peaceful. If you're experiencing yourself as love, everything else around you feels very loving. When I sit down and just look at nature or the world around me, as I'm experiencing myself as love, all I can see is love. That's my experience. And we've talked about it before, but I experience myself as a rainbow. Beyond this world of creation, and that's deep silence, but it's very life-giving, full of life. It's the potential of every beautiful thing, and that comes into the world as light. When the potential of everything, infinity, the infinite, that we all are, that you are, that I am, when that comes into creation, now it becomes a created thing. It goes from beyond creation, which is not created. That's why you can't talk about it. Nevertheless, we are talking about it. And it comes into creation. It comes in as a bright light, so bright, just like you all, very bright. And then it slows down, and you can hear it, a low-pitched sound and a high-pitched sound. And that slows down into love, peace, well-being, happiness, joy, etc. That slows down and turns into atoms, which then slow down and turn into molecules, which then slows down and turns into the world. So the peace that you are, the love that you truly are, that I experience, and I see it all around me. It's a direct experience. And for many of you, it is too. When you experience yourself as peace, the world is peaceful. When you experience yourself as love, there's only love. So, as we talk about world peace, and we talk about awakening, who comes to mind when you think of world peace? And I'll give you a hint. It starts with Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. And you remember his saying, be the change you want to see in the world. So your awakening has to do with world peace. Your inner peace has to do with world peace. Now, he didn't really say that. He didn't really say, be the change you want to see in the world. What he did say, you can read in a publication that he published, his journal, and it was called The Indian Opinion. In 1913, he wrote, we but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As you rest as peace, and that's the journey that we're all on. That's the journey that you're on. That's why you're here today, right? Awakening at rest as peace, as love, as joy, as well-being. It's very important to you. As you experience it deeper and deeper, the world around you will change. That's called world peace. I mentioned before that awakening is resting in your true self, your happy self, your best self. When you feel a bit of peace during the day, just rest there and let everything else go. Or happiness, rest there and let everything else go until all there is happiness, until all there is peace. So the next question is, okay, how? How do I let everything else go? Okay, sometimes I do feel peaceful. Great. How do I let everything else go? Well, there's an infinite number of ways. And awakening is just as deep and vast as you are. So, if you could picture a knot and you want to undo a knot, you don't just yank one string, one part of it real hard and that's it. Okay, the knot's undone, right? No, you yank, it's probably worse than ever. You have to wiggle it a little this way, wiggle it a little that way, wiggle it this way, this way, pull this, pull that. You know, who knows how long it'll take? Sometimes quick, sometimes slow. Awakenings like that. At some times in your life, exercise really helps for you to let go. At other times, watching a good movie really helps, or music, or a walk in nature, good nutrition. It's hard to say. Everything works if you're focused on the core, which is your best self, and you're using everything in the service to let go anything that's blocking you, anything that's troubling you. So you ask yourself, what would help me now? Maybe philosophy. I could solve this age-old question that I've had, and it will help me unwind my mind. So maybe there's a place and time for that. Or maybe there's a place and time for singing or loving. There's always a place and time for all these things, especially loving and feeling peace and singing and music. But as that knot loosens, then something else will be more appropriate, and then something else, and you trust your heart to know. You just do the next obvious thing to you. And if somebody tells you something to do and it doesn't feel right for you, trust your heart and follow that. That's awakening. Yes. Rosa says dancing. Yes. Trust yourself and you let everything else go. But guess who has to undo that knot inside of you? You do. If I have my hand in a fist like this, people can help me to relax. Let's say I'm tense and my hand is in this fist. People can be nice to me. They can give me good nutrition. They can take care of me. They can love me. And maybe with their support, I am able to let my fist open. But in the end, guess who has to open it, even with all of their support? I do. They don't open it for me. I open it. Well, what if this fist is inside of me? What if it's called my psychology? I've got to open it. Nobody can do that for you. No guru, no angel, no Jesus, nobody. They sure can help you, though, but you have to do the work. And even when they help you, you have to receive their help, which sometimes is work too, to take it in, to soak it up. You do that. So if you're new to these podcasts, we talk about different ways of letting things go that trouble us, how to let them go. Not just, hey, don't be attached, how not to be attached. Not just let go, how to let go. Practically speaking, how to do all these things. So as you do these things, back to Gandhi, if we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. World peace. Now, Jennifer and I, whenever there's a protest in Tallahassee, we go to it. We work on all levels. But we go there and we're happy. We're not bringing anger. We're not fighting anger with anger. Oh, we're angry and somehow we're going to change through our anger the world into a peaceful world. No. We're happy. We're relaxed. We have a good time. But it's important to express yourself. We're in this world. We express ourselves. We add happiness. We add peace to peace. If we're in a peace march, we're peaceful. You can't be in a peace march if you're angry. Then you're in an anger march. But most of all, I sit still and I do my daily practices consistently. Inner peace, inner transformation is what changes the world directly. So it's like that. That's what Gandhi's saying. Peace. So what's another peaceful person known as the Prince of Peace? That's Jesus. Well, Jesus said in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's right now. If you want to know what heaven looks like, look around you now. If you are resting in love, all you see is love. If you're resting in peace, all you see is peace, and it is heaven. Your world is heaven now. And if you're not doing that, then you're creating something that may be apart from heaven. But that's optional. You don't have to do that. Yes, all through my life, I have been so separated from myself, everything but heaven. It's been very difficult. But step by step, inch by inch, just like you, I've let go. And now it's heaven. Mostly. You know, old habits, that's why I talk about PTSD in podcast 26 through 30, because a lot of us have had hard times. And even though I see love right now, everything is light, everything is love, everything is peace. Something could happen and it could pop my limbic brain, my reptilian brain, which is designed for fight, flight, freeze, for safety, not for happiness, just instantaneous reaction. Somebody could do something like that, and suddenly I feel it because of my history. The difference now is I know it's temporary. It's like a cloud passing in front of the sun. The sun hasn't gone away. It's just a temporary blocking. And now I know what to do. Let the cloud go. I don't need it anymore. And then I take a breath, sit still, and I open back up to who I am. So we're in this world. We've had a lot of hard knocks. But slowly this PTSD has lessened up and lessened up and lessened up. So that's how it is for all of us. It's an inch at a time. But as you let go deeper and deeper, you open into awakening, into love. And I say all this by way of encouragement because we're all the same. We're all awakening together. And this is true for us all. So what did Buddha say about peace? Buddha says, peace comes from within. Do not seek it outside of yourself. That's pretty clear. If you're looking for peace and a peaceful energy that flows into and forms a peaceful world, you know what to do. It's within. It's called awakening. It's just that simple. Now, why is awakening difficult? We're caught up in a drama of a misaligned personality. It's like we're an actor stuck in a role in a TV series. We're caught up in the drama. It's hard to let the drama go, to let our misaligned role go. It hurts, but it sure is exciting and dramatic, like an addiction. So there are many, many ways to let our false drama, our delusions, begin to let go, to unravel, to dissolve and dissipate. For instance, we can go for a jog, and perhaps that begins to let something go. Or listen to music, take a nature walk, yoga, deep breathing, on and on and on. Sitting still in meditation and letting these dramas express themselves, unwind and expend their energy, and begin to melt away can be very powerful. If you're not familiar with this process and others, please consider going back to podcast number 1 and just listening to all these podcasts in order, step by step. That's been very helpful for many. Anyhow, in our last podcast entitled Enjoying Yes, and it's just about resting in happiness when you feel it, or resting in peace when you feel it and letting all the rest go. It's short, but it's helpful. Okay, let's answer some of your questions. Jennifer says, in India, I was surprised at the large number of people, mostly Hindu, who were open to loving Hindu gods, Shiva and Buddha, Jesus, Ramana, and many more, also Mother Mary. They seem more open to this than most Westerners. It's so beautiful, she says. It is true. Jennifer and I were there a couple years ago, and we're going back again as soon as we can. And in a rickshaw, they'll have a picture of Jesus or a picture of Shiva or a picture of Krishna or anybody. And they love to talk about it. You ask, who's your favorite God? Jesus, I love Jesus. Or, oh, Shiva, it's Shiva. I love Shiva. Or Krishna, Krishna. Mary, whoever. But they're very, very open because to them, it's all one. It's all one. There's no fight. For them, religious works like the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas or the Upanishads or any of the Buddhist literature or Christian Bible, it's all considered wisdom. It's not laws. When something becomes a law, then you fight people like, oh, you broke the law. I have to fight you. I have to kill you because you broke the law. I have to stone you to death. They don't look at it that way. They read something, and anything that doesn't resonate, perhaps it was written at a different time to a different culture, or it just doesn't ring true to them where they are in their life right then, they let it go. No big deal. And when they come across something that does resonate, like Jesus saying, the Father and I are one, follow me, I'll show you the way, they go, oh, okay, that sounds great. I like that. But they don't get caught up in turning things into laws and horrible things, and then everybody's traumatized, and they don't do that. They're just open, and all the gods are different portals to the infinite, to the one. Thank you, Jennifer. Beautiful question. Rosa, I have just completed training as a coach and mentor. I want to support people in their mental health recovery. Congratulations, Rosa. Because I have lived experience, I know how difficult it can be. Oh, that's so perfect that you know that. However, I have never felt so blocked. I am procrastinating and not allowing myself to launch. Any guidance, please? Yes, Rosa, I feel that all the time. Everybody does. We all feel that. And I felt that all through my career. At one time, I did a lot of public speaking, and I went through everything you can, the legs knocking together, or I won't even get into all the things I experienced, but everything you have read about or heard about people who are very frightened doing, I did in front of 300 people. So it's normal. Take a breath like this. And just let go. And begin to relax. It's okay. And you may feel a little blocked or stuck for a little bit until you don't. And it usually doesn't go all at once. It usually goes little bit by little bit. At least for me, you can ask others, but for me, little bit by little bit. In all of these past podcasts, we talk about how to let things go. But it's like washing a dirty cloth in the washing machine, a real dirty one. Perhaps the dirt comes out a little bit more each time it's washed until blocks relax, release, and let go fully. But even though I experience myself as love and peace, I continue to do my daily practice to stay centered, to let anything go that comes up. that I need to let go. So you, Rosa, little bit by little bit, can begin to sit still and shift. But what I would recommend, take baby steps forward at the same time. Because even though you're peace and wellness and love, you may not feel it. Well, you don't feel it right now because you're overwhelmed with all the stuff that you're not, all the fears and the anxieties and the self-doubts. Those are just things that you've taken in over a lifetime. They're not true. They're temporary. But they're just how you've been treated for a while because you have experience in the life of difficulty. And that's what you're letting go. But as you know, it doesn't happen all at once. It's bit by bit, step by step, day by day. Baby steps. That will give you empathy and compassion for other people. So take baby steps forward, support your true self, your compassionate self of helping, of loving, of putting a hand out to others. And if you're nervous when you contact them, you say, look, I can help, but you have to know I'm in this too. I feel difficult right now as well. Let's work together. You can say that, but move forward. Try different things and move forward. The reason why I brought up some of my experiences and it being so difficult for me in every business that I've been in, it's been difficult, is because I kept going forward even though I was experiencing all these things. It was extremely difficult, but I kept going forward the best I could, and that's all you can do. And you can do that, Rosa. You can move forward. Baby steps. I can do a little baby step. I can't do a lot sometimes, but I can do something. Do that. Does that help, Rosa? Rosa says thank you. Therese sent 2 questions. She wants to know about my journey after awakening through my guru and then going out on my own and awakening. Oh, and she continues, she says, I know that you shared it was a dark night of the soul. If you care to talk about it, I always find your personal experiences most helpful and they offer hope. So yes. So what Therese is talking about is I went to India in 2004, and I've lived for years in India at various times, but that was my first time, 2004. And I went there in particularly to meet my guru, Bhagavan, who is the most powerful person I have ever met before or since in real life. Extremely powerful. And before I even left, what motivated me to go to India is some people that had been trained by him said that if they touched me on the head, I would awaken. Now, I had worked quite hard on my spiritual path for 30, 40 years before that. And here they are just prancing into town, into Austin, where I lived, and saying they'll touch me on the head and I'll awaken. So that's ridiculous, and I did not believe that. But I had done everything else that I could think of and been with every other guru that I could find in the United States or teacher or whatever. So I thought, why not? Why not try this? They charged $108 to touch me on the head, which they did. I paid the $108. They touched me on the head. They said, go home and go to sleep. By the time the little workshop ended, it was probably 7 o'clock or 6:30. So I went home. I went to sleep. I woke up, and in the morning, boom, everything turned to light and love. And I didn't do anything. I just woke up in the morning, like you wake up, you open your eyes, but boom, everything was radiant. And I could not believe it. I didn't trust it, but I thought I'm just going to enjoy it for as long as this lasts. But it kept lasting and lasting for days and days and days and days. And after about a week, I decided to go to India. I got a visa somehow within 2 weeks, and I was in India in 2 weeks, 2 weeks later. And I met my guru, who instigated all of this energy thing. And the idea was that he could impart a deep awakening to you. And I did experience that very strongly for 10 years. And I've talked about it in past podcasts, but it was like so clairvoyant, and I could talk to him across continents, and I could see the future, and, on and on and on. And all these were side effects. They weren't what I was after. I was after happiness. That's all. I wasn't after the miracles, but I saw lots of them and experienced them, and lots happened through me. So I thought I had awakened because I was experiencing all these things. I was experiencing awakening. I was seeing life clearly. Yet, at the same time, and this is the strange part, I would often feel very depressed or anxious. I felt bad, but I felt good. Because awakening, feeling extreme joy and power of the universe feels very good. So I worked on my stuff that was hurting as much as I could, which was all the time. But it always was there. And after about 10 years, and I started a group in Austin, and since I was one of the first people that did this, I was in charge of 7 states in the United States, from Tennessee down through Texas, and miracles were happening through me, and people were inviting me everywhere, and I was a big deal. It was my guru's energy that was coming through me was actually the big deal. I was like a conduit, like a little antenna, and it came through me. I thought I was awakening along the way as well. I thought it was me with some help from him. After about 10 years, he and his wife, who's also very deeply awakened and has her own ashram, they told me that I should go out on my own. And to do that, they were cutting me loose, and they weren't going to talk to me anymore, because then I would keep relying on them. I would be addicted to them, more or less. So they withdrew everything, and every other spiritual being I knew, including Jesus and everybody else, quit talking to me all at the same time. Everybody. It was sort of an orchestrated event. So I went from immense oneness to basically nothing, and that was the dark night of the soul. It's quite jolting to go back to your old self after you have 10 years of love and light. The reason why it was good to go back to my old self is because I never did awaken. If I had, after all of this had shifted, I would be awake. But I wasn't. I knew what awakening was like, and I had been taught a lot over that last 10 years. I knew what to recognize, what it is, what it isn't. I knew all that because I lived Bhagavan's world. But I wasn't awake. So I had to start over. And that's what these podcasts have been about, step by step. And now I can sit still and it's all love. I can feel what I felt, not near as powerful as it was with Bhagavan, but it's in the same family. It's very strong. It's infinite. The only limitation is my body, my nervous system, and my psychology, which as I let go more and more, the infinite flows through me stronger and stronger because I'm a bigger conduit. So that's what we've been talking about in the last 150 or so podcasts, is how. Because over the last, really, I've taken everything all through my life, but over that time, I've done a lot of different things, and they are helpful at different times in my life, but certain things I've found to be crucial, and that's what I put in these podcasts, the how-to, what have I experienced that's been helpful to me. And I'd say, try it out. Does this happen to be helpful to you? If not, don't do it. If it is, then add it to whatever else you're doing or consider it. So, yes. So I know from a fact, because like some of you, I came from a very dark place. Very dark. The only reason I say it anywhere near like that is because I want you to know it's been inch by half inch. I haven't just like somebody tapped me on the head and poof, okay, great. I remember when I first saw Amaji, very awake. She's also known as the Hugging Saint. She's spoken at the United Nations. She goes all over the world, very powerful. I used to travel and just be with her a lot, but back before I met my guru and after. And I remember the second time I saw her, the second year that I saw her, a tall guy, he was probably 6'5", 6'7", and he had his head shaved. And he came up to her, and he would always come up to her and he'd say, Amma, give me awakening. And he would put his head down, his shaved head, and he'd say, just touch me on the head and give me awakening. And she would laugh and tell him he was nuts and push him away. He would do this every meeting, many times. He would somehow inch his way up there and, Amma, you can do it. Please, Amma, I beg you, do it. You could just give me awakening right now. And you read about stuff like that, but no, she would just laugh because it's not possible. You have to do it. True awakening, you have to let go. If you're who's blocking me? I'm blocking me. You're not blocking me, I'm doing it. If I have blocks, I'm doing it. So I have to slow down. I have to stop. I have to look. How am I blocking myself? Let me slow down. I can't release the whole thing today, but I can just look at it. I can feel it. I can let it exude its energy and begin to unwind. I can begin to let go. As I said before, the fundamental core hasn't been about miracles or fancy stuff. It's just, I don't want to suffer. I just want to be happy. That's awakening. I just wanted to be happy. Isn't that what you want, really? Do I really want to talk to angels or Jesus? I have. And it is very supportive. Having a friend in Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or angels can't be anything but supportive. But the core is not that. And if you get away from the core, your awakening, you get lost in the weeds somehow, I think. You're grasping for this or that. And I'm not saying you, Tyrese. I'm talking about myself, my perspective. Because at the best, they just support the fundamental process of awakening and give you encouragement and help. You have to stay on your path and do your work. Even if you're in the midst of angels or you're with your friend Jesus or Buddha or Shiva, you still have to do your work. We'll talk about that in a minute because that's Therese's second question. I hope I answered your first one, Therese. Yes, awakening, just keep at it step by step, inch by inch. It's there for all of us. That's what these podcasts are. You're awake now. The kingdom of heaven is within you right now. It's now. Thich Nhat Hanh said, Nirvana, awakening, is now or it's never. It's only now. Papaji, now. Papaji was a disciple of Ramana. Ramana is where Jennifer and I have gone in Tiruvannamalai, India, around the holy mountain of Arunachala. And Ramana, one of the most powerfully awakened beings, he was like the equivalent of Buddha in southern India. I've spent years there. And Ramana just sat still. He went in a cave and sat still and let everything else go. Amaji, the hugging saint, she didn't sit still. She just loved everybody and let everything but love go. So there are many paths. You can love and let everything else go. You can be happy and let everything else go. Ramana was silent and let everything else go. But that's available to all of us, to you, to us, to all of us. Great question, Therese. Jennifer continued with what she was saying. She said the people that she met in India, no matter what path or who they were connected to, whether it be Christ or Shiva or Krishna, she says they still felt spiritual strength, especially on their own path. Whatever portal they chose, they felt the power of the infinite. And they did. They really, really did and do. And Yamaya said, in reference to Bhagavan, asked if what I was feeling was Shaktipat, or is Shaktipat different than an enlightenment? I felt both Shaktipat, which is spiritual energy, very, very powerful spiritual energy, and I experienced awakening. I say experienced because I wasn't awake. I was experiencing awakening through Bhagavan's eyes. I experienced his awakening. And yes, Shaktipat is quite different than awakening. It often is a side effect of awakening, this powerful spiritual energy. But you can experience this powerful spiritual energy without being awake. You can be next to somebody, or you can experience it through yourself, yet you yourself aren't awake. So they often go together, but often they don't. I felt all of it. It's hard to describe. 10 years of that. It was like I was seeing through Bhagavan's eyes. It's like when Jesus appeared to me, and maybe we'll talk about that in just 1 second, because that's Therese's second question. He and I became one, and he could experience everything I was experiencing, and I could experience everything he was experiencing. I didn't become Jesus. I just was one with Jesus. And I didn't become Bhagavan. I just was one with Bhagavan. And through Bhagavan, I could experience what awakening in his world was like. It wasn't my awakening. I was experiencing his awakening. It's just hard to describe, but that's what happened. And it did come with lots of power and Shaktipat. Natalie says, wow, that takes such courage. As far as my path, you do the next obvious thing. From one perspective, it seems like courage, and from another perspective, it's just what happens next. And yeah, a lot of it was courage along the way. But your heart knows what to do. You know what you have to do. But don't do more than what you can do. Bhagavan once, my very first question to him was, I was experiencing, speaking of world peace, I was experiencing people doing horrible things to wildlife at the beach, and I would go up and talk to them because I wanted them to stop. And my first question to him is, what should I do about this? What's going on with this? First time I was in India, it bothered me so much. I grabbed the microphone, there were 500 people, and I asked him that question. He said, well, in oneness, everything is as it should be. It's fine. It's all love. And it did not seem that way to me. He said, and it does not seem that way to you. And it shouldn't. Until you experience that as true, I'm not asking you to believe that. You need to do what is appropriate to where you are on your spiritual journey. Do that. Like in terms of world peace, if it's protest, protest. If it's talk to people, talk to people. If it's send out postcards, it's sending out postcards. If it's doing everything, it's doing everything. You can only be as clear as you are, but keep going forward into deep clarity. Be open to that. So, yes, it might seem like courage, and it was, but it's also comes with clarity, which makes it easier. It makes it necessary. In clarity, you have to do what you have to do. Thank you for all of those good questions and comments. Therese goes on and she asked her second question. She says, thanks for the recommendation for Awakened. I finished it and thought it was so good. Awaken is a book by Michael O'Callaghan, and I'm a character in the book. My name is Christopher in that book. It's primarily about her experiences with very powerful gurus, miracles, and being in India. A group of us experienced a number of gurus performing very powerful miracles, especially one where ashes were billowing out of his hands, and he did a number of other things as well. And it was actually at the book signing. I didn't know there was going to be a book signing, but Michael said, hey, you're a character in the book, you should come. And I came, and that's where I saw a flyer to get touched on the head for awakening at that bookstore. So that got me to India, but I was in the book, and Therese goes on to say, I was intrigued that Michael mentioned you channeled angels in your practice. Do you still do this? Channel angels. Michael had mentioned this in the book. And what that was about is just like you, inch by inch, I'm moving forward to be a little clearer each and every day. And what I used to do in Austin, I was in private practice as a psychotherapist. And before I went to work, I would go jogging through the nearby park every day. And at the end of that jog, I would put my hands in a stream, scoop out some water and drip it on my head and kind of cross myself. It just felt good. I didn't mean anything by it. It was kind of a Christian thing, but I'm kind of Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, everything. It just felt good. And ever since I was a child, Jesus has been my friend. So I don't know. I just felt good. I just did it. Well, I'd been doing that for months and months and months and months and months, maybe a year or two. I don't really remember. Well, this one day I did that. When I touched my heart, it was like a spiritual energy blasted through me, and I was knocked to the ground, fell into the water, and I fainted out cold. It was very shallow water. It was only about 4 inches deep. It was like a stream, a little over rocks. And I couldn't have been out very long. I got up. I couldn't believe it. So I tried it again, touched my heart. Boom, out again I went, down into the water. I tried it a third time. Third time I was ready. I caught myself. but I almost fainted. Had to go to work, so I did. I spoke at the Whole Life Expo that night, which was being held in Austin. And the next morning, I wanted to go to this seminar. There were tens of thousands of people there and some very big, important speakers that I wanted to listen to. And I woke up in the morning and I started journaling. And as I typed, I was very tired. I said, I'm tired. I'm giving you the short version right now. If you want the longer one, it's in podcast 81. I'm tired. And suddenly my fingers start typing back. No, you're not. You're fine. We're giving you energy. And it went on like that. And I'd never in my life experienced anything like that. So I said, who is this? It said, I'm Michael. And I want to talk to you. I want to open you up. The longer we talk, the more open you'll become. I'm going to run energy through you and it's going to open you up. So as you're getting ready to attend this workshop, seminar, I'll be talking to you. I really didn't know what to make of all this, but, I went with it. I talked back and Michael said, you don't have to use the computer. You don't have to journal. We'll just talk back and forth. So that went on for maybe an hour or so. And in the middle of it, somewhere, Michael said, oh, and Jesus says to say hi. And later I was to find out this was Archangel Michael. But I had no clue. I just thought it was some Michael, and I had never done this before. I didn't even know what Michael. I didn't know. It was all very new. So he says, oh, Jesus said to say hi. Well, that was so out of left field. And I said, well, what does he have to do with anything? And Michael said, well, you were his friend before he was famous. And that really got me laughing. It was so bizarre. And then Michael said, you need to clear out this office that you have in your house in Austin and make it into a meditation room. You need to get a maroon rug, and this all has to happen within 3 weeks. Very specific. Again, I don't know anything from anything. This Michael's telling me, get this maroon rug, and this rug right here that you see in the background here in our place in Tallahassee, that is the rug that I got for Michael. And he said, get rid of all of the office equipment. I had a big Canon copier and computers and desk, and get it all out of there. Chairs, get it out. This is now a meditation room where you put up an altar, which I did. I did all that. A Tibetan monk showed up out of nowhere. Another story. He set up the altar for me. His name is Phunsak. He is Tibetan, but they're all in India now. And then maybe 3 weeks later, Michael comes by and says, oh, Jesus wants to talk to you. Would you like to talk to him? I said, sure. And then Jesus appeared. Fast forward, and if you want to know more about it, like I said, podcast number 81. But fast forward to now. Every morning I go on a walk. This is to answer your question, Therese. And every morning, Jesus is walking there with me for an hour and a half. And I can ask him anything I want. Every day, I can ask any angel anything I want. But you know what? I don't. Pretty much. Now, occasionally, yeah, I'll ask something. But you know why? Because that's not important. Jesus and I are one. Jesus and you are one. Jesus and all the angels are one. We are what we're looking for. And I don't mean as a philosophy. I mean, when you sit still long enough, that's what you feel. When I sit still, and I told you earlier in this talk, I experience the atoms as love. I do. So why am I want to interrupt that to talk to Jesus? That's what he's experiencing. We're sitting there side by side. Why are we going to talk about it? Then we can't experience it. It's like sitting in the back of the car watching my movie so I don't get to experience the waterfall. I spend all my time talking to Jesus. Same with angels. I'm not looking to talk to angels. Occasionally, if I'm in a jam, they help me. I just ask for clarity or something and they help, sure. But no, I don't like to do that much because the answers are within me. And by me, I mean you. The answers are within you. We're all one. One Indian man explained it once he said, it's like your hand and all the fingers on your hand. Each of us is a different finger. We sense things differently. We touch things differently, but we're all on the same hand going to the same arm. We're all connected. We're all one. Well, we're all like fingers out in the world, and we're all one. What's true for me is true for you. And as Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and that's now. He was saying now. So I don't channel angels. I don't channel Jesus. But they're there. Always I see them. Jesus especially. I just look over. There he is. I feel him. Always. Ever since I've been a small child, he's been there. That's true for all of us. All of us. Some people are close to Buddha. Some people are close to Ramana. Some people are close to angels. And all these are good things. If you feel called to talk to angels, I would talk to angels. Or Jesus, I would talk to Jesus. Just don't let it pull you away from your center core, which is you. You are the happiness you're looking for. If they can help you in that endeavor, great. But if that pursuit pulls you away, say being with a guru, maybe, when Amaji leaves, everybody's crying, oh, Amma, when are you coming back? Oh, because when Amma leaves, she takes her power with her. The Shaktipat, it goes with her. Amma. The awakening goes with her. Amma. Bhagavan, he was unusual. He could project it wherever you were in the world, at least through me he could. And with so many others too. It wasn't just me. But you still were somehow attached to him. You still somehow were dependent on him. He was the guru. You were dependent on him. Nobody needs to be dependent on Jesus or angels or Bhagavan or anybody, because you are enough. You are the world. You are the change you are looking for. To paraphrase Gandhi. So Therese, what would I do if I were in your shoes and I really wanted to talk to some angels? If it was important to me, I would follow my heart. And the first thing I would do is ask an angel a question. You can either pick an angel by name, Michael, Saint Germain, or you can just say in general, I'd like to talk to an angel. Will one appear to me? Will one talk to me? Or, Michael, I'd like to talk to you. And just see what you hear. Now, don't block it out. That's what most of us will do because we've been taught, there's no such thing as angels. Or even if I kind of think there might be, how could I trust that I'm really hearing one? Or no, that's my imagination. It really is that still, quiet voice. And it comes into your head, but it uses thought forms. That's all you have to work with in your head is thought forms, pretty much. So that's what angels use. And so it might appear to be your own thought. The difference is it kind of pops into your head. It's not something you put into your head. Though in the beginning you might be a little confused because it's all new and you might think, did I put this thought in my head? Am I talking to myself? And that's all very normal. That's what I would expect most to feel or experience. In addition to thoughts, yet deeper than thoughts, is inner knowing. So sometimes angels or other beings connect to you, become one with you, and you know through your inner knowing. It's not really a thought or an emotion, it's a knowing. You just know. You ask a question and you know the answer. So be open to inner knowing as well. And if I was wanting to go deeper with it, I would just take my time and develop your intuition, develop your trust. Don't expect to be good at it right away. So you ask a question and you receive an answer. And test it out. Like if I ask a question about my life and I get an answer, does that feel good in my heart? Does it resonate with me? And in the beginning especially, and really always, you want to hold these questions and answers very lightly. When you receive an answer, don't feel like it has to be perfect right now and you have to be so good at it right now, because you won't be. It's all new. You just hold it lightly, like an experiment. And as you continue to ask questions over time, months, years, your intuition develops, your inner knowing develops, because you're using it more and more deeply. And you begin to hear things and know things that in the beginning you may have had a lot of doubts about and that you didn't fully trust. Again, normal. Like everything, your abilities develop over time with use. So you just do baby steps consistently, and eventually you'll get results. Also, as a byproduct, as your intuition develops, you'll begin to hear and see things in deep realms, even within yourself, deep realms that you weren't aware of before. You did not know that they existed because you hadn't developed the abilities to go there. So it's a very good practice on many, many levels, Therese, and I'm very grateful that you asked that question. Okay, well, happy World Peace Day next week. Take care. Bye.